Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pleasure Point. I'm Jessica Van, and I am super excited to have you guys back. So, I decided to come back to you guys on the couch because it feels like you're in my living room. We're just chatting it up and talking about sex and sex education, which my favorite topics, right? So, guys, first, let me just say thank you so much to everybody who watched the P. Orrin and Parenting interview. I got some really great feedback, and it really just encouraged me to put that undergraduate degree of mass communications to use and get out there and start interviewing more people. So, we've had a few guests on our show, and I'd like to have a few more just to chit chat and really dig into the world of sex education and counseling and get some different perspectives here on the couch. I really wish I could have you guys here. Gotta get that in the works. So, anyway, I am super excited, like I said, to come back to you once again. Today, we're going to be talking about porn literacy and why it's important for your adolescent child. Now, I know that gives a lot of parents the like, what did she just say? Like, yeah, porn literacy. So, what is porn literacy? Basically, it is giving your adolescent child or teenager the information, or adult for that matter, the information necessary to differentiate between porn, which is acting and sex for entertainment, and actual real life sexual relationships. Why is porn literacy important? Well, it's important because if you haven't noticed, sex does not emulate porn a lot of times. And if it does, there needs to be a conversation behind that. It's important that we all know that consent is the foundation for all sexual activity. And a lot of times, well, depending on the porn that you choose, that may not be um, a part of that script. But you can guarantee it's been negotiated by those actors. So I just kind of want to take you guys through some key points of porn literacy. So, porn literacy is really about gaining a better understanding of how we use porn in our everyday life. It really asks you to be more intentional about the porn you'd like to support, how you want it to impact your life, and just getting to really understand why you're using the type of porn that you are. So, the Teen Health Source provides us with some really good questions that your young person or you as an adult should be asking yourself about using porn. So, I'm going to look over at my notes so that I get these questions right. What role does porn play in my life and in my relationships? Uber important, right? What messages are you getting from porn? Does what you see in porn reflect your real life values? And what feelings come up before, after, and during watching porn? That's really important because it gets into evaluating once again, why are you using this porn? What part of you is pornography feeling? Now, trust me, I realize that this topic may be touching some people's stuff. There's a lot of belief that porn is unclean and not something that you should be, putting into your mind's eye. However, a lot of people use porn for entertainment, they use it to enhance their sexual life, or maybe it's just something that they're curious about. And unfortunately, as accessible as pornography is these days, I would much rather us give the messages we'd like to send to our children about these materials before they are learning about it just on accident. And it's very possible. When you're looking for Baker's shoes, make sure you put in bakersshoes.com. Bakers.com is something else. It's important to remember that while watching porn can be a pleasurable experience, porn is not always reflective of what sex is in actuality. It's important to think critically about what you're watching and what you see and what you don't see. So some of the things you're not going to see are the two actors negotiating a scene, what they're consenting to and not consenting to, safer sex conversations that are necessary, medications being used for birth control, awkward bloopers, or water breaks, and you for doggone sure don't see the whole crew setting up angles. Well, you might if that's what you're into. It's important because overusage of porn can sometimes skew expectations and reality. And having these conversations about porn literacy can help you to manage those expectations. So let's talk a little bit about expectation versus reality. So, porn can sometimes give a young person, especially, the impression that everything's going to go smoothly. And the fact of the matter is, it might not. You may fumble with the condom. There may be some awkward silence. There may be a lot of nerves and jitters. So, having that expectation or letting your young person know that everything's not going to be like it is in a porn. No one's going to knock on your door and offer you a 12-inch slice. Guarantee it. That's going to be important. Another thing is orgasms. Orgasms are a huge deal in porns. You may hear them being announced. You may see bodily fluids. There's a lot going around that. But in actuality, your partner may not have an orgasm. They may not notify you of the event, or you may not know what's going on. And if porn is your only reference point, then that makes your experience maybe a little less enjoyable because you're not sure what to expect. So, basically, using your resources and learning more about pornography and how it can be a tool to you is going to be of the utmost importance. Remember, it can be used as a reference, but it is not the end all be all. So, finally, some of the things they do in porn that you think you may like, you may not actually like in reality. And that's okay. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that, but it's just not for you. Remember, again, you are watching a negotiated scene between two professional actors, and they probably stretched before. So don't get yourself into anything you can't get out of. Oh, and when I say that, I mean positions. Definitely remember that consent is the foundation, and consent can be withdrawn at any time. That is imperative. So, the long and the short of it is pornography can definitely be used as a tool. And if you are a parent and you're hearing this, it's important for you to help your young person come up with the narrative and their use for pornography that they do have readily accessible. So, if you're thinking, my child will never come across pornography, maybe you're an Amish family and you have no technology, and maybe they won't. But in the event that they do, you want to be the one to educate them on how to appropriately use it. If you're an adult and you're wondering how porn literacy can impact you, well, it helps you to separate fantasy from reality. Again, pornography is a great tool, but it is not reality. Now, one really important thing, and I'm pretty sure I've said that before, so it's not the one really important thing, but the major thing is taking note of your use of pornography, being able to readily identify when it's become an issue in your life, because everything is healthy in moderation, right? You don't want to do too many things in excess. So I want to make sure I get this part right. So I'm going to refer back to my handy dandy notes. There are some questions that can help you to answer whether or not you should be concerned about your pornography use. So, does my porn use negatively impact the things that are important to me, like school, work, or relationships? That is going to be important because if you are now choosing pornography over your real life relationships or your real life responsibilities, it's no longer fun. It's no longer a viable tool, and you should seek help. Talk to your local counselor or even PCP, and maybe they can refer you to someone. Do I feel in control of how I use pornography? Can I set limits? Can I set time frames, which are limits, around my pornography use? Am I comfortable thinking about using pornography? What feelings come up for me? Do I feel ashamed? Do I feel guilty? And Do I find using porn pleasurable, or do I use it out of boredom or to distract myself from other things? Now, what I've learned in my research is that oftentimes porn and boredom go hand in hand. But you also have to ask yourself, go back to, what am I feeling? Am I sad? Am I anxious? Because sometimes watching porn, using masturbation can be a release of endorphins, and you're using the pornography as a sort of self medication. So, once again, reach out to your local counselor, PCP, sex therapist, what have you, whomever you feel comfortable with, to help you with this situation. And my final point about porn literacy is choosing ethical porn. Yep, there's ethical porn. So you want to ask yourself questions like, who produced this film? How is it funded? And who's getting paid for this film? You want to be sure that all parties involved in the film consented to the film being recorded and consented to their likeness being used. You want to make sure that everyone in the film is of age. So there's a lot of barely legal pornography going around, but you will see kind of a disclaimer before the pornography that although they're depicted as barely legal, everyone in the film is 18. That's definitely what you want to make sure of. There are a lot of different avenues to finding ethical porn, and I will share those with you in the link. But guys, remember, it's all about knowledge. It's all about expanding your knowledge. If you're not into watching pornography, great. You don't have to. If you are into watching pornography, maybe some of these tips will help you to monitor your use, connect to why you're interested in pornography, and how you can use it in your sex life. It'll also help you to come up with the cues to when maybe your usage isn't so healthy. But all in all I'm doing is trying to get the message out and educating you all on sex and sex related topics. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in again today, and have a great day. We've talked a lot today about porn literacy and how it can impact your sexual relationships and your daily functioning. If you or someone you know has any concerns about your pornography usage, please know that it is not lost on me that this can be a difficult topic to talk to people about. It can bring up a lot of those feelings of shame and guilt. However, there is someone in the sex positive community who is just waiting to help you with this. If you need any assistance finding resources, do not hesitate to reach out to me, and I can assist you maybe in finding someone in your area. But thank you again for watching, and make sure you're using pornography responsibly.